I swear, if there's one thing that always trips up the most number of students, it's going to be fractions. So what I want to do in this video is kind of look at 4 different examples where we're going to have fractions and we're going to have to deal with them. And I'm going to work through most of the problems through 2 different ways. So you can kind of see the longer form, which is going to be helpful for more complex problems, as well as a shorter form when you don't want to spend so much time solving a problem. So let's go and take a look at this first example here. And in this example, I have x over 3 plus 7 over 3 equals a negative 11 over 3. One thing I recommend to students when we are dealing with problems with fractions is purely to get rid of the fractions. It's the fastest, the easiest, the best thing you can do, right? If fractions are what is confusing, if fractions are where you make your mistakes, then eliminate them. So how do we get rid of the fractions? You got to understand what exactly a fraction is, right? A fraction is just a division problem. This is saying x divided by 3. This is saying 7 divided by 3. This is saying negative 11 divided by 3. If I want to undo divided by 3, then I can just multiply everything by 3. But it's very important that you have to make sure that you keep what we call equivalent equations. So therefore, we're going to multiply everything times a 3. Now for this first example, I'm going to work it a little bit longer just so you can kind of see the math and how it works. So in this example, what I want you to be able to see in this case is that I kind of put all the 3s. I basically distributed this 3 to each and every one of these terms. And then I kind of just put in parentheses. So therefore you can make the difference. Obviously you could go ahead and multiply 3 times 7, then divide by 3. But why go through all the work? If you're multiplying by 3 and dividing by 3, you can just say they undo each other. Or another way to look at it is you can see like 3 divided by 3 is really just going to be a 1. And a 1 times x is just going to leave you with a x. So we have x plus 7 is equal to a negative 11 because again, these 3s divide out to 1. A lot of times we say cancel them out, but they're not really canceling. They're dividing to 1. So now what I'm simply gonna do is now I just have an equation with no fractions, right? Awesome. So therefore I will just subtract a 7 on both sides and I get x equals a negative 18. So remember, we can also use our inverse operations. When we're applying our inverse operations, we basically just want to identify what operations are being applied to the x. You can see here my x is being divided by 3 and it's being added by a 7/3. So all I'm gonna do is apply my inverse operations to undo what's being applied to x. So I'm going to subtract a 7/3 on both sides, and then to undo division by 3, I will multiply by 3. Okay, and you can see, obviously, guys, we're going to get the exact same answer. There's something important, though, that I want you to see. As I was applying through these inverse operations, I got this equation that x divided by 3 equals a negative 18 over 3. Now, again, this is a proportion, right? It's a fraction equal to a fraction. But notice something. The denominator is exactly the same. So when you have a proportion, a fraction equal to a fraction, or a ratio equal to a ratio, and the denominator is exactly the same, you can just set numerator equal to numerator. The reason why I bring this up is because in this example, that's exactly what we have, right? We have a fraction equal to a fraction. Well, guess what? The denominators are exactly the same. So the quickest, the fastest, the easiest way to do a problem like this is just set the numerators equal to each other. And voila, now you can just go ahead and add a 5 to both sides and you are done. So a is going to equal a 7. Now, again, we could also use our inverse operations, right? We could also just go ahead and multiply by a 7 on both sides. But again, if we just want to do that, right? That's the way that I like to teach students is like, get rid of the denominators. But again, what are you going to get? The 7s are just going to divide out with you multiplying on both sides, and you're going to get the exact same equation, which is going to give you the exact same answer. All right, so now let's get into a problem that's going to be a little bit more fun to kind of tackle. And you can see in this example, we can't apply the same processes that we used in the last 2 examples because notice my denominators are not the same. So there's a couple ways we could go ahead and tackle this. The first and most important one that I'd recommend doing is eliminating my fractions, right? We don't want to be divided by 3, by 6, and by 2. So the way to do that is to multiply by a common number that they all denominators divide into, which we call the least common denominator. So we got to be able to identify this number. Now, there's a couple different ways we can think about how to obtain that. You could list out the multiples of each of these denominators, and that's fine and that works. But in this example, what I'm going to do, and just kind of like think about this from left to right. If I want to get rid of this 3, then what do I need to do? I need to multiply by 3, right? So we can say, all right, so we're going to multiply by 3. Now I can go over to this one. You could say 6, right? Now think about this. You could multiply by 6, right? And we could basically just multiply everything by all the denominators. But again, sometimes that's going to create pretty big numbers. So rather than just going immediately to, well, if I want to undo this, I'm going to go to 6. What I kind of think about here is I say, well, what if I multiply by 2? Because if I multiply by 3, that's going to get that one, right? If I multiply by 2, well, 3 times 2 is equal to 6, right? So therefore, I'm going to eliminate that denominator. And guess what? When I multiply by 2, that's going to get rid of that denominator. So in this example, my LCD is going to equal to 6. So once you go ahead and identify your LCD, go ahead and multiply by every single term, just like we did in the first example. Now, again, when we go ahead and do that, our denominators are going to divide out. So you can see here, and when I'm multiplying by 3 times 2, and then I'm also dividing by 3, 3's are going to divide 1. That's going to leave me with a 2x. In this example, 3 times 2 is 6, right? So multiplying by 6 divided by 6 is just going to give me a positive 7. And then in this example, now my 2's are going to divide out, and that's going to leave me with a 15. Now I have basically a 2-step equation that I can go ahead and solve. And you can see in this example, we're going to have an answer of 8. But there is another way that we can also do this. I like this method because it's the same process. We're eliminating denominators. However, there is a special equation though that I want you guys to understand. When the denominator is exactly the same, we can just set the numerators equal to each other. That's a really important concept that I want you to understand. So if I have my original equation, right, where there's going to be x divided by 3 plus a 7 over 6 is equal to a 5/2. Now again, remember, we identified that the smallest number that the denominators all divide into is 6, right? So the LCD is equal to 6. Well, another way I can do this is just get a 6 for all of my denominators. So I already have a 6 here. That's good. To get a 6 here, I just need to multiply by a 2 over 2. Right? And to get a 6 over here, I just need to multiply by a 3 over 3. So once you have a good understanding of what the LCD is, then you can just go ahead and quickly obtain it. So therefore I have an x over 6 plus a 7 over 6 is equal to a 15 over 6. But now you can see that, oh, I have an equation, right? Where now all of my denominators are exactly the same. So I can just set this as a 2x plus 7 is equal to a 15. And guess what? You're going to get the exact same answer that we just showed. Also, you could use the inverse operations, but that's just not really something I would recommend for a problem like this. But what about when you have one fraction? What is going to be the best way to be able to do this? Well, when we only have one fraction, that's awesome because we only have one part of division that's being applied. So yeah, we could say that I don't like fractions, right? And again, remember, this can be rewritten as a 1/3 x plus 7 equals a negative 11, right? It's the exact same equation, just written a little bit differently. Here it's written as a fraction. Here it's written as x divided by 3. But again, like whenever I see that fraction, whenever I see that denominator, I just say, well, why don't I just multiply everything times 3? Because what's going to happen when you multiply 3 times x over 3? That's just going to give me an x. 3 times 7 is going to be a positive 21, and 3 times negative 11 is going to be a negative 33. Minus a 21, minus a 21, and therefore you can get x is equal to a negative 54. Right? Now, what else could you do though? When you only have one fraction, you could also just use your inverse operations, right? I mean, when we had the fractions were the same denominators, inverse operations wasn't that bad. But once we had different denominators, I would say it kind of gets a little bit tricky. So I would kind of focus on using inverse operations when we only have one denominator or all the denominators are the same. Because in this example, all I simply need to do here is to subtract a 7, right? And you can write it as 1/3 x or x over 3 is going to equal a negative 18. Right now, to undo divided by 3, I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides, and therefore x is equal to a negative 54. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully this was helpful with solving some equations with fractions. Go and check out the videos and playlists I have in my description for more examples, or check out the next video I have for you here. Cheers.